Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'll call the March 4th Select Board meeting to order at 5:30. I believe we'll accept the agenda as written and move to announcements.
Just a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded. And the second announcement is from the Public Health Director. It's an update on the short-term registration program, short-term rental registration program. I'm hoping there's Roberto.
Yep,
Roberto?
he's got
Yep,
slides
he's
that he's
on.
going to share.
Good
Yes, I'm online. So pardon the look, I'm stuffing the envelopes right now for all the short-term rental messaging. So that's why I'm in my office, and I also need to share my screen. So real quick so that I can get this going. Share screen. Screen 2. Uh-oh. Where is my short term? There you go. All right, so real quick, things are going very well, moving things forward. So can you see the short-term rental presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. So throwing everything back to where we started, the very first meeting with GovOS was on November 5th, and we started going through the process immediately. We jumped in feet first, going from the project management dashboard that I presented at a previous meeting, where we looked into the registration framework. We did all the API credentials for the payments, and then we started user acceptance testing. That's what UAT is, on January 2nd. A lot of it went through, a lot of the information was put through the team with Kathy Baird, Lisa Wynn, Penny Dye, Matt Heffenreffer, and Brian Turbin. Went through all of this stuff. And we completed it about 2 weeks ago. And then we trained the staff earlier last week on the dashboard and GovOS software. And then they actually made the software live. We are live as of Monday, March 4th. So what does that mean for us? So between this past Monday all the way through to the end of the month, we will be sending out the short-term rental letters that you just see me, that I just showed earlier, that I'm stuffing the envelopes right now. You will be getting a letter that looks like this on the screen, with a 6-digit license number and an activation code. Every address that was found through the web crawler and the scraping will get one of these letters. So we're in the process of sending all that right now. So you should be receiving those anywhere between by next week or 2 weeks from now. If you do not receive it within the next few weeks, by March 31st, you can call the GovOS hotline. It is on the screen right now. It's 1-888-751-1911, or you can email them at that crazy long email address there that I'm not going to read out, for an activation code. They will walk you through how to register your address in order to get an activation code and the license number. So try to do that. If you haven't received your letter by March 25th or so, make sure you're looking at that. You should probably start thinking about calling in for an activation code. And why is that? Well, because on April 9th, GovOS is going to be hosting a webinar. This webinar is the walkthrough of the actual software. You need to have your account set up by then. You need to have your activation code and your license number by that time. You can log on. I have this QR code up here for a reason, for anyone watching it at home, anyone watching on YouTube or anything like that. Just point your camera to this QR code, and that will take you to the registration process for the webinar for April 9th. That webinar will also be recorded, And then once it's recorded, we'll be able to post it up on either the Town of Nantucket's YouTube page or on the website. We'll also forward it to any of the other groups that want to forward it to their clients. And then just know that Act Now, Nantucket Together, and the Association of Real Estate Brokers are going to get custom links. That way they can register through their organization. Because from what I'm hearing, the GovOS, I don't know if this is true yet or if they've approved it yet, also provides continuing education units for some of the licensing. It'll be 1 hour of CEUs. I will confirm that with GovOS, but I still haven't received confirmation on that. And then what they will do at this webinar is walk you through the permitting process, step by step, every single thing. If you have everything available, you should be able to have your STR completely registered by the end of this webinar. So that is great news. They will walk us through there. And then what we're trying to really get out there to everyone is that this year is for registration purposes only. We're tracking down as much of the STRs as possible through our this process, through our dashboard process in the software, through real estate brokers and agents. So we're going to be just registering. If you have major violations or something like that, if you see a complaint, if anything that you would like to complain about for an STR, call the GovOS hotline. That is open 24 hours a day. And that phone number is on screen right now. That's 508-315-6372. Do not call the health department because we do not have the ability to log in the complaints into the software like that, the way they do. So call this hotline. And if you call us, we will tell you to call this hotline number. So what that does is that it logs those complaints very specifically, and it logs those complaints specific to the address. So that's why we need you to call the complaint line instead of calling us directly, because they're able to log it specifically to this address so that we can collate numbers if somebody complains about 16 Broad Street being too loud, or where are we for Fairgrounds being too loud. We can actually look up the For Fairgrounds license and say, in the past 3 months, we've received 22 complaints saying that the police are too loud or the fire department is too loud. And so that's how we can move forward with that. And then we will start doing enforcement on the regulations and everything starting on January 1st. And with that, we're at the front, at the go. It's a go. So we let the games begin. That's a picture I took this past 4th of July, so I just felt like I should brag about it. And that's it. Any questions?
Yep. Anyone? Brooke?
Roberto, how many properties were found in the scrubbing? Do you know?
So they found over 2,000 listings, but once they started deduplicating and things like that, it came down to 936 individual properties.
Okay.
Individual addresses.
Okay. And the other question I have is, for those who don't catch on until after April 9th, will the webinar be available as a recording so that they could follow along?
Yes, it will be recorded. We will have it posted on the town website and in hopefully in YouTube as well. And then we will provide that link to Act Now, Nantucket Together, NAREB, whole 9 yards.
Thank you.
Kathy Baird?
Hi, thanks for taking my question.
Sure.
Just quickly, wondering if there's any guidance to give folks on how many times they should register if they have, is it once per address? So no matter how many dwellings are on that property, you'd register once, or is it based on the number of, because the listings can be different wherever you find them in scraping, and so can the one with the state, however many licenses you have. So I just wonder if there's any guidance that will be provided in the webinar for people, because we've gotten a lot of questions where I have 2 properties or I have 1 property, sometimes with 2 dwellings, and do I need 2 licenses and so forth. So that would be really helpful to know.
It is one registration per property address. So if it is, if you have a cottage on the property, they will walk you through how to do that. So if you rent both the main house and the cottage, or the main house and the basement, things like that, they will be able to walk you through that.
Any other board member questions?
Just a comment. I heard Roberto talk about a class and credit for learning this. If you have any questions, Shelley Lockwood is trying to put one together for coastal resiliency credit for real estate agents, and is pretty far along, I think, talking to somebody, so she may be able to help Roberto. And I'm sure Penny knows who to contact too.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
there's a subcommittee of NAREB that deals with all the education.
Yeah.
So the two things could be combined into a course day. Marion's on that, who's in the audience.
Okay, yeah.
No, that'd be great if even if this one doesn't go through, even if they don't get this one approved, I think the information that is in here can probably be approved for a later training. So we would love to continue that relationship.
Great, thank you. It's exciting to see it up and running.
Yeah, never expected it to be out so quick. These guys, there's these monster machines usually are kind of monolithic and they take a long time to get off the ground. They turned this one around in 8 months. So we're not even 3-4 months. So we're really impressed.
All right, great. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any opening select board reports or comments?
Madam Chair, just one question on follow-up to the HDC report. Are we going to talk about that again? There's certainly a lot of questions, and then there was another draft of the report that was earlier that hasn't been distributed. That should be distributed.
Are you talking to the mic? Sorry.
We should turn it on too.
Yes, please.
Oh, are we talking about the original draft? before?
Yeah, I'd love to
Can
see
we
that.
get that, Erica?
I believe that somebody already asked for the original draft of the report, and it was reported that there was only one draft. There was a original draft of the PowerPoint that was given, but in terms of the actual report, what you received is the one and only. That's what I was told from
Yeah, I was the
Holly
one who asked.
Backus.
Yeah, I was the one who asked. You're 100% correct.
Okay.
So that's not available.
Oh, apparently there isn't one.
It was just
This
a
was
final.
the first I've heard of there being two. But we do have to have follow-up, so that's on our list.
Thank you.
I'm giving it a little bit of time for them to sort out some of the recommendations, and potentially whether there can be any backtracking to include some more of the interviews that were originally requested. I don't believe there's any follow-up from prior select board meetings tonight. And is there any public comment tonight for items otherwise not on our agenda for discussion? Seeing none. Oh, okay.
I just wanted to wish my son Gannon a happy birthday today. He's 21.
Yay.
Done?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. There's no new business. Approval of minutes, payroll warrants, treasury warrants, and pending contracts.
So moved, all of them?
Just one question, Madam Chair. It's just interesting. We're buying 3 Ford vehicles, but none of them from our local. That's a matter of cost.
Oh, your mic's not on, Malcolm.
Why aren't any of the vehicles being purchased locally?
We should probably ask that question into the mic, since
Dr. McNabb asked, why are there no vehicles purchased locally?
We typically, when we're doing large-scale purchases, go to the state bid list for the procurement's already been done, and they have vehicles available immediately for us. So we're very close to that. So that's why we use the cooperative purchasing agreements or the state bid list for those vehicle purchases.
Thank you.
So if Don Allen wants to be included, they'd have to get on the bid list.
We have tried previously to work with them, but in my discussions, there's a lot of additional steps that they have to take that are somewhat onerous for them to get that done. So, yes.
Okay,
So I'll second Matt's motion.
okay, that's what I was getting at. And Tom's going to recuse just because of one conflict on the contracts, right? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. Consent items, we have one gift acceptance from our island home. Does somebody have that handy? Okay.
I do. 1 second. Oh, I had it. Here we go. There's a gift of $100 from Maureen Glowacki to our island home, and I would move to accept this gift for its designated purpose with thanks going to the donor.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Next up, we have Citizen Departmental Committee requests and reports, Nantucket Housing Authority, Tenant Board Member seat appointment. There is a recommendation in the packet on this. Are there questions, comments?
I will note that Nancy Friend, who is the executive director of the Nantucket Housing Authority, is online. And if anybody does have any questions, she or I are happy to answer that. But I think I covered everything in the AIS. You have 3 applicants. They've all met the criteria for a tenant board member. One of the applicants is a federally subsidized tenant, and that is the basically the most qualifying criteria. So she gets added weight to her application.
Okay,
And that's Marvia Hendricks.
okay,
So I would move that we appoint Marvia Hendricks.
Second?
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Next up, we have a request to declare a certain portion of town-owned land located off South Shore Road, described in an order of taking by eminent domain of land in Nantucket for municipal sewage treatment purposes dated February 27th, 1986, recorded with Nantucket County Registry of Deeds in Book 246, page 263, which portion is shown as Parcel B Conservation Area on plan of land entitled Division Plan of Surfside Wastewater Treatment Facility Land in Nantucket, showing parcels A and B dated April 23rd, 2023, prepared by Blackwell and Associates, Inc., and recorded with the Nantucket County Registry of Deeds as Plan Number 2023-25 as surplus property.
Whoa. Don, before we hop to that, can I say, Marvia? Ms. Hendricks is here, and I just wanted to say thank you for
Oh,
volunteering to serve
and-
on the board, to continue serving on the board.
Yes, thank you, and congratulations on your appointment. No worries. I didn't know you. So, so I'm not going to read that again, but does it?
Town Council Vicky Marsh is online if anybody has any questions about this, but this is pursuant to an annual or special to a town meeting vote, recent town meeting vote, and it's been in the works for quite some time.
It says Article 6, a special town meeting. Yeah.
Special town meeting. Thank you.
Any questions, any comments or motion?
Well, just quick question. We're sure, was this a swap? Does anyone remember? Did we swap? Was this a swap for anything?
Vicky?
This was not a swap of land. This was done by taking by eminent domain, and it was taken for municipal sewage purposes at the time. And the land that's now in question here to be declared surplus land is going to actually be conveyed to the land bank. They are going to be managing the property for conservation purposes and protection of natural resources at the site as part of the conservation and management permit that is granted by the Division of Fish and Wildlife.
And that permit you just approved under pending contract, so this is part of it.
Okay, is there a motion?
Can I ask a
Question?
question?
Go.
Yes,
I have one
of
after
course.
go.
So Vicky, my question it sort of comes on the heels of the question about MIPA set-asides. And when we make this surplus and put it in conservation with the land bank, does it remain eligible for MIPA offsets, or does it take it out of the pool of resources for MIPA offsets? Because we do have a bunch of upcoming projects that are going to require offsets.
Can we get credit for it?
And yeah, I'm just curious how that all works.
To be honest, I would have to inquire with, I'm happy to inquire with MIPA about it, and see if this would be still eligible. My understanding, though, is that this property is being set aside due to the protection for habitats out there and compliance with the permit. This Surfside wastewater treatment plant has been in non-compliance for a number of years, and it's taken us quite a bit of time in order to be able to get it compliant and to get approval for this conservation and management permit. So as part of the transaction, the land bank is going to be acquiring the fee title to this property. So it's not going to just be an easement or a restriction on it. So I'm happy to inquire and let you know and get back to you as to that question, if it's eligible to be a set aside. I don't think so, but like I said, I'm happy to let you know.
Matt, did you have another question?
Yeah, it's sort of along the same lines one was for David. Does the northern part, how, if you had to take out, I know you're already taking out a couple of the beds, if you had to take out sort of a lower bed and move higher, it's page 32, yeah. Yeah, if you had to take out sort of the two down near the water and put a couple more up in the corner, could you do that?
This has to do with the MIPA restrictions on it, but on the other side of the facility, in the east end, there's another 6-acre parcel already set aside for wastewater expansion.
All right.
If we have to. That's why this was made more sense, so that they could manage it better than what we would be able to do as far as the land conservation.
Yeah,
side.
I'm all for them managing it, but I want to make sure that, that we get credit for it, and we should give them as much of the dune fields and the other parts that are, that have significance and management, and get credit for it in some manner when we need it on another project.
It was, like Vicky said, it was an extensive process to get through the permitting, and it did have offsets when they built the plant.
Yeah,
So
that's what this
Okay.
is. Yeah. Okay, so I would move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries unanimously.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
There is a specific motion in your
Oh,
packet. that you
sorry,
need
I
to
don't
read.
have that up now. Can you stop sharing the screen?
Yep.
I got it. I move that we hereby determine, should I just say I make the motion as
You can say
indicated in the packet?
The
Page
motion on page blah blah in the packet.
Okay, it's on page 31 of the packet. So moved.
Thank you.
And the seconds on that?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next up, select board reports and comments, review and vote to revise language of House Bill number 4046, conveyance of 50 Alter Rock Road to Nantucket Conservation Foundation, Inc. for open space, recreational, and conservation purposes, as requested by Representative Fernandes. So this is just a revision to something we've already done in terms of the language. And this is in relation to the sheep pond access.
I would move
Right.
approval.
This is Alter Rock.
Yeah, but it was because of the
Oh.
sheep pond access.
So
Yeah, there is one thing I wanted to ask
Right.
Vicky in there, that said something about the select board is determining that we're swapping no net loss. We're declaring executive office, energy, environmental affairs, no net loss rule. Can you
Yes.
explain to us?
Yes, I can. So the property that we'd be conveying, Article 97, is 50 Alter Rock Road, is subject to the no net loss policy that's set by the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And what it does is it means that if there is a conveyance of land that was subject to Article 97 protection, in return, the town should be receiving an equal amount of land that could be used for, that's unrestricted and could be used for other purposes. And so in this case, we're going to be receiving several paper streets that are owned by the Nantucket Conservation Foundation in return. And then those paper streets, as a result of the consideration that NCF will receive from Alta Rock Road, they will then grant easements to the residents for an alternate Sheep Pond Road access. So it plays a role in being able to get this alternate access out to the residents. I should also point out that Article 97, the new process for getting Article 97 approval has changed due to the new statute that was approved last year. And so the process that we followed in this particular situation was not originally subject to that new process that's in the new statute. Does that
And the
answer your
other-
question?
And the other question, just to let the public know, this is not, Conservation Foundation is not going to be closing Alta Rock. It's in the document, correct?
Yes, this property has to be preserved for park purposes. The town originally had received this in perpetuity to be held as a park. And so when it came, when we came up to try to find some land that NCF could then take as consideration, this was a parcel, but in order to be able to do this, we had in the legislation that they were to hold it for park purposes as well. So this will continue to be held in perpetuity as a park.
And I think it's important for the public to know that.
Yeah, no, it was good to get all of that clarity in regard to the swap and the maintaining it being open.
I'll second Brooke's motion to
Okay.
approve.
Okay, anything further? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously.
Great.
Are there any
Thank you.
committee reports? Wow. Record.
Move to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.